Everyone Racers.
It's a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ
or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough,
and Chrissy,
and Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm Dave.
You're Dave. Yay. Welcome to Everyone Racers. Welcome to an Eastern Bloc sedan episode of our podcast. It's episode 353, the Wartburg 353, known in some export markets as the Wartburg Knight, is a medium-sized family car produced by the East German car manufacturer AWE for their Wartburg brand. It was a successor of the Wartburg 311, and it was itself succeeded by the Wartburg 1.3. The Wartburg 353 is commonly nicknamed Trustworthy Hans or Farty Hans by the owners due to its durability and copious exhaust emissions, especially when cold and or overoiled, as this was powered by a 1.3 cylinder engine.
A 1 liter 3-cylinder engine.
1 liter 3-cylinder. Thank you. That needed like a comma or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the same basic drivetrain that was in the Wartburg that we
That's terrifying.
molested.
People
all those years
probably
ago.
die in those. So there's
Oh,
that.
many times, I'm sure.
Yes. What
Great.
years?
The like mid 60s to 1982-ish.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I didn't know.
It's East
'cause you
German.
didn't put-
They didn't care.
Yeah,
They just keep, if you can get one, then you just drive it. That's all. You have to know someone in the party to get one.
and then you might die. So there's that too.
Probably.
Always a good
Yeah.
time. Okay, let's go. What you working on?
You know, it's funny because I know what all of us have been working on.
I know what we've been working on. Yep.
Yeah. Dave, what have you been doing? I
Dave,
bet I know.
welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Well, besides the main topic, recuperating has
Uh-huh.
been the main objective.
Yep.
Fixing Bobbin's air conditioner last night at like 9:30, fighting bugs.
It's very convenient. You know how to do that.
Yeah, well, that's what happened when she called me. Is she's tell me what it's not doing, and she asked me what she should do, and I said call an HVAC guy.
Oh no.
And she said, I just
And
did.
she's like, I am.
That's it. Yep, exactly.
Oh.
So, but all's well. It was simple fix. Was able to get it up and running for her, and then just back to work today. I took yesterday off.
Good for you. That
Really,
sounds
just
nice.
I had to. It was so exhausting this weekend. The heat just really kicked my butt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough. And by the time you get home, it's midnight. And yeah.
Well, fortunately, you're closer than we are to Connecticut.
Yeah, a little bit. And really fortunate there was like no traffic coming home. Which was
Correct.
amazing.
At all. So surprising.
Mhm.
We couldn't believe
Agreed.
it.
That was great.
Yep.
Great. Chrissy, what have you been working on?
Well, Chris and I have been cleaning, so we emptied the. We actually also had no traffic. Worked the next day, so we worked on Monday and today. So we went to work and only got about a little over 4.5 hours of sleep, or at least that's what I did because I have to get up early for work. So yeah, we took a tiny nap and then unloaded the car. I did the inside, Chris did the outside. So washing all the coolers and unloading the truck and trailer and car. And I put away, did all the dishes from the potluck and mom's cookie containers and the crock pot and emptied all the boxes and brought stuff downstairs. So we're pretty well set. Did a couple loads of laundry. Yeah, we're doing okay.
Yeah, I've got the car in the garage up on the lift. And I've given it a quick once over. I haven't finalized everything yet, but it appears so the only things that need to be addressed is both front suspensions have a little looseness in them. When you grab the wheel top and bottom and give it a shake, both of them have a tiny bit of play, so it's probably ball joint starting to go, which I'm not surprised. These control arms aren't very old, but they're street stuff, and they're not used to the kind of loads we're putting on them. But they're so damn cheap that it's okay. It's a consumable. Change them once in a while. They're not hard.
And it's better to do it at home while it's on the lift than at the racetrack during the race.
Absolutely.
Ask me how I know.
Yep. Yeah, the control arms in this car are 3 bolts, and they're about $60. So they just keep getting changed. That's okay. No problem. Great.
Ready?
All right, well, that's simple. Simple enough. Well, now, Chrissy, you ready?
It's time!
Do you have a spare $1 million and want something none of your other rich guy friends have?
I do, actually.
You do?
I do.
That's good. You have rich
Convenient.
guy friends?
Yep.
Yes.
One of the 9 remaining GM Futurliners is for sale. Nico D'Amata of The Drive brings us the story and says, the Futurliner looks more like an apartment building than Jay Gatsby would own than a bus, which is only part of what makes it special. At its core, a 12-foot tall rolling showcase of pre-war Americana. It currently belongs to Peter Pan Bus Lines in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I can speak today. And it stands as one of the only 12 Futurliners ever made between 1936 and 1940. They were all originally built to promote GM's Parade of Progress, and after all these years, just 9 are believed to remain. Even then, the whereabouts of most of them are unknown. This specific example is half of a duo owned by Peter Pan, but its sibling is derelict. With its massive GM logo, 4 horizontal headlights, skinny windshield, and corrugated aluminum side panels, there isn't a vehicle on this planet that looks like the Futurliner. Powering the Futurliner is a 4-cylinder Detroit diesel with a 4-speed automatic transmission, sending power to the rear wheels. Since it weighs right around 12 tons, it isn't exactly quick, but who needs speed when you have this much style? Link is in the notes.
Those things are so cool.
It doesn't have any windows.
No, because it's not made to be a passenger vehicle. It was made to be a rolling display showcase. So it opened the sides up and talk about.
Open the side up.
This is remember this is the late 30s. They're trying to say, look, here is the new things that General Motors is doing to the future, and they'd have all the stuff in it. So it has 3 seats in it. They're all up in the top. The driver's seat is in the very top front center, and there's 2 seats, kind of there's like a sofa behind the driver for the passengers. But it wasn't meant. It's not a bus. It's a rolling showcase.
Didn't you guys see one at one of the shows you went to?
Yeah. Well, Metal did it. It's a Atlanta auto show or something. And he even got to walk up to the top and everything too. It was great. That's one of our YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yep. Hey, so now someone can buy one. That's great.
Sure.
All right. The police in San Luis Obispo, California, had an interesting call recently, reports Beverly Braga at The Drive. She notes that the sheriff's office answered a call regarding a suspicious vehicle parked in a lot in nearby Los Osos, California. Turned out the vehicle was an Oshkosh M1070 heavy equipment transporter. The M1070 is built to U.S. Army specs in order to move large and heavy machinery and vehicles. This includes self-propelled artillery, armored vehicle, and, of course, tanks like the M1 Abrams, the America's Army go-to battle tank. But earlier in the year, this particular M1070 wasn't scheduled for R&R, so why was it hanging loose near Morro Bay? Because it had been stolen while in transit to Southern California. How one steals a military transporter, especially one that can haul a tank, is a story ripped from the latest Fast and the Furious 11 script, because, there's probably going to be another one. But and like the Fast and Furious franchise, this story involves a climactic pursuit when the deputies arrived, and their person of interest fled with the M1070. The driver ended up a few miles down the road in Montana de Oro State Park, where he crashed through the gate. Fittingly, the vehicle then became lodged in an area known as Sandspit Beach. So even though it was stuck in the sand several times over, now surrounded by law enforcement cornucopia of local and federal agencies, the driver still refused to exit the tank transporter. So sheriff's deputies, Harbor Patrol, Coast Guard, and California State Park Rangers were all involved with the perimeter around the stolen vehicle, which is, the kind of action an M1070 was looking for, right? So eventually the sheriff's special enforcement detail arrived and threw tear gas into the
Oh.
vehicle.
No.
So that did it. The driver finally emerged from the vehicle and was taken into custody that night. Then identified as Patrick Kelvin Van S, 63, of Los Angeles, and he is being charged with theft of the vehicle, evasion, and destruction of public property. The latter two are felonies in California. So,
Wow.
yep. Interesting ride. Didn't go quite as planned.
I think it's
Amazing.
funny that he wouldn't get out of the truck,
Yeah.
the large truck. Like, you're
Till he
stuck.
gets his ass tear gassed.
What do you think is going to happen here? You're going to either get shot or what? At some point, I mean, I guess
Well,
giving yourself up
at some
is
point,
not
you
the
have to realize I have made a series of poor decisions here, and I don't know what else I'm going to do.
right. You're or you flee or
Yeah, well, then
You
eventually
start-
you got to realize, like, I'm done. I have
You're
zero
also
options
in the-
left.
you're in
So
the
you know,
sand.
you put your
So you
hands out the
can't-
window. You say, "Okay, sorry," because if the police have to come for you, they're bringing an ass kicking with them usually. So don't
and
do
then
that.
you were tear gassed, so that
Right.
sucks too.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Anyway, slow news week. That's what I got.
fine. That's fine. We've had slower news weeks, so that's okay.
Yep.
You can find anything on Racing Junk. And with Dave here, we went looking for a mid-size, luxurious Toyota sedan with a straight six, as he has a certain proclivity for those. We found this 1997 Toyota Crown Royal Salon, a mid-sized luxury sedan. This particular Crown is in amazing condition overall, with about 92,000 miles on its odometer. It runs and drives like a brand new car with its air conditioning and heater function flawlessly. Oh, hi, we have a friend. In addition to its remarkable condition, this Crown also boasts a clean and stunning interior, as well as a well-maintained exterior. It features electronic folding mirrors and provides exceptionally comfortable ride. All in all, this outstanding vehicle is given its age and mileage. They got the good membership, so there's lots of great pictures of this, which is great deal at $12,000. You're gonna have to click the link because we don't have it shown on here.
Yeah, I can't
basically
make
like
that
a
show
Lexus.
and not get it back. But
Okay.
it's not an LS 400 though. Like, it's a slightly
No.
different platform than that, but it's got all the Lexus features and what, I don't know. It seemed up your alley, Dave. Big
yeah.
Toyota rear drive,
2JZ.
mid-sized luxury sedan. Oh no shit.
And we have a special guest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who else is here?
Hi, it's Timber.
Teme. Hi, Teme.
Hi,
Teme,
friends.
how's your day in
Sorry.
Bahaba?
Sorry for being late. I got back
That's-
from the Bahaba. It was great. Place
How you
is
feeling
awesome.
today?
We went to- I feel good. I feel good. Yeah.
Excellent. That's good.
But it was, a lot later than this morning.
Yeah.
Morning was different. That was a different answer this morning.
Yep.
Do you want to
Well-
tell us why, or indicate how much fun you're having?
Oh my goodness, we
Having
had
a good
so
time.
much. We had so much fun. First time ever to Bar Harbor. Went with some friends and we decided that it'd be a good idea to go to a new restaurant and have an appetizer and a drink. And it was awesome. Like, everything was fantastic. But there's so many restaurants.
Yeah. Bahab is pretty busy.
Yeah, it was really fun. Super, super
Great.
fun. If you haven't gone, go. And go to Acadia. Acadia is beautiful.
Next time you're there, go to the other side of the island to South Harbor.
We loved South Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's super
quieter.
low key, quiet, but very, very nice. And we had a really fun B&B that we stayed in. There's a great restaurant down the street, and just all the usual main things too. So would recommend.
Yeah, I want to go back to Acadia for a few days and do a bunch of hiking. It's just spectacular.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
Before we move on to racing, can we do a what you working on with Timmy? Because Timmy didn't come racing with us this weekend because he was at a golf tournament. So how'd that go?
Yeah, so it was fun. Yeah, I had played in the member guest at the club that I'm a member at here. I'm a member at Augusta Country Club, and my buddy Ray came in from Austin. They're staying with us for which is just so much fun. And then I'll play in his member guest in October, so we kind of go back and forth, and it was cool. We played practice round Thursday, and then we played 18 holes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we did good. We won our flight. We got into the shootout, and we didn't win the whole thing. Another team made birdie to win the whole thing, but I think we won the fun prize, top fun prize, which was,
No way.
it was weird. Yeah, I only had 56 cigars, and probably I don't know 4 times that amount in transfusions and beers and whiskeys and all.
Surprised you can speak at the moment. So.
If you
He's a
voice
professional.
get a little deeper,
He is-
some of them fried potatoes.
Oh, you're Dave said you're a professional. He said I don't know if everybody heard that. Yeah, I'm surprised that you can.
Glad you made it.
Is your liver giving the white flag yet? I guess not.
Agua.
Night off, and you can start back in the morning. That's good
Yep.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Couple days of
yeah,
detox. Yep.
We're just gonna pretend like the liver and I are on speaking terms, and then we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yep.
Good plan.
Sounds good.
Super,
All right.
super fun.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming to the show.
All right, Chrissy, what's next?
It's race results time. There's no races this weekend. Go to the beach or something. But let's talk about the race results.
Well, we went to Thompson, so we got results from there.
Yay.
Timmy, you want to start us off there?
Yeah, the boring BMW no theme get your crap together Boston Whiners won the overall. B, it's a team that has really been trying hard. It's not the USA, it's just the US. So good job, Repedal.
Yay.
Well played. Well
Golf
played. C, more to come on that one. C is Moot Point Racing and their Volvo 240. And I know that's not the Bertone Volvo because they had a whole different type of weekend from what I know.
Yeah, it's the black semi truck themed Volvo, and those guys are a regular listener. So, hey,
They're
hello,
great.
gentlemen.
Yeah, congrats
They
to
are.
them.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
They had this thing locked up by about 2:00 on Sunday. Even though they started with a bunch of penalty laps, they just never stopped. Ran a great race.
Well, welcome to B.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
Yeah,
heroic
they were
fix.
in Pitt too. I remember those guys.
Yep. Go ahead,
Yep,
Dave.
heroic fix went to the Purple Rain Focus.
I don't remember what they did. Do you guys remember what it is that they did? They fixed.
I don't remember. I was sweating so bad in the awards I couldn't even pay attention.
Yeah.
No, it was no air.
It was so
They were
bad.
in a lot, and their garage. They were in the garage at the very opposite end of the garages from us. But no, I don't remember.
They were
what
running when I was out in track, but well, hey, Gay, good job, you fixed it, yay!
They also came
Yay.
in during the race, went through tech just because in Prince costumes with a bubble wand going, like one of those electronic bubble things going.
Yes,
and
I
they
remember
had-
that. It was solidly green flag time, and they were just being friendly
Uh-huh.
with bubbles.
Yeah,
It was
I don't
nice.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember why.
Okay,
Yep. I got screwed with the Acura Integra. They blew up in testing and they never got it fixed.
yeah. Eric said they did something bad enough that it just launched the starter right off the car, and they
Yes.
that damaged
Yes, I
something
remember
else, and yeah,
Wow.
that's a shame.
Yep. And then the judge's choice went to, I guess that's Nisberons with that pretty incredible Infiniti M30. That thing was pretty epic out there. I saw it and was like, wow, that thing just looks like they just drove it in and put it on track.
It looks like they pulled it out of grandmom's garage. It was super clean, like white pearlescent M30, which I don't even know what an M30 is. This was when Infiniti launched in the US in like 1991. They had two cars. They had the Q45, which was the big V8 sedan, everyone knows, right? And then they're like, well, we got to do something else. So they had this M30, which is based on the Nissan Leopard. It was like, well, we have this. We could just put some leather and a different badge on it and it'll be good enough. And they sold about 12 of them. So this one was still around. It was great to see.
They were very slow, but they kept going around and around.
Yeah, they're very polite. They're always staying out of the way. They're predictable. They did the slow car thing pretty well.
The livery though.
No, nobody did.
Okay. It said stay asleep and like
obey.
Forever. Obey. Yeah. And it had like other things. I guess it was deep enough that maybe somebody got.
I asked Manny if he knew what it was, if it was explained to him. He's like, yeah, I have no idea. So
okay. Every time I saw it, I was trying to figure out why.
That was the first M30, was it not, in Lemons?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody knows what that theme was, you can tell us about it.
Let us know.
Sure, that'd be nice.
We can figure it out. It was
in the notes down below.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what comments are for. Yeah, great.
Explaining the shit that we don't know. Okay. We have a bunch of regional awards this time. The first one was the groom's gift to Lemons. That's too broke to care. Adam Shaw, shout out to Adam Shaw. He made he and the whole groom's party came and made a 200-pound pig, and they showed up late to the potluck, but they made it all happen and they were great about it. They had problems with what do they have, a Mustang? Is that what that is? It's really beat.
They have a Mustang, but they also had a E30 that they stuck a Mercedes 5-cylinder turbo diesel in. And that damn thing kept working all weekend, of course. That car worked. It has an exhaust
out the roof, which is always exciting. Oh, there's a kitty. Hi, kitty.
Yep. Dave's kitty is joining us. Hello, Dave's kitty.
Oh, no. She's like, no, I got to go. Okay, so that was one regional award, which was awesome for them. The next one is the Saturn Bowl. I think this was the Saturn that did the best. Is that why?
Yeah, the other Saturn that's not Manny's challenged them to see which Saturn sucks least. And it's funny that the team that challenged them lost.
Yes, right. That was it. Went to the Sesame Street Outlaws, which is fun, and their Saturn. And then the regional 3 went to the only Porsche without black flags. Went to Team Regressive.
Yep. Org Choice went to Team Hesh. You've heard about Team Hesh before. They have this 82 Escort pony, and when they showed up with this thing the first time, it was exactly as you'd expect to find it in a high school parking lot in 1998. And it was faded two-tone, faded blue, just awful car. And they keep racing it, keep making it a little bit better. They've gotten a lot better over the years. Great people, great attitude. And this time they themed it up as an ice cream truck. They put a box on the back of it. They painted it white and pink. They had a ice cream cone on the roof, and they had a little speaker playing ice cream music, right? And they gave out ice cream. It was great, and it all went really wonderfully until about an hour into the race, maybe, not even, when they came up over the hill onto the straight, and the car slid a little more than it usually did, and it's a little toppier than it used to be, and they hit the edge of the track with the wheel still turned, and the car went over onto its side and then all the way over. So that's unfortunate. It caused a little incident right there. Chrissy was right there for.
I was seconds away from being part of that incident, actually. But also, so I drove right up and over the hill when it happened. And the sad thing was that I said, so when I stopped, I said, I can see the incident. And I said, I think the ice cream truck rolled. And they still had the ice cream music going. And it was heartbreaking.
And the cone never fell off.
The ice cream cone was still on there. And so I was like, I think it rolled, but the ice cream cone's still there, so I'm not really sure. And then everybody confirmed that it had rolled. So I just thought, and so to end, additionally why they got org choice was because the car was awesome. It also, the paint job was really good from 10 feet away. Like it looked not professional, I'm sure, but like it was white with just like different colored dots. It was very well done. When they crashed, they were out. They cut off the ice cream truck part. They took off the ice cream cone, and they took out the song, and they put it all to their cart, their gas cart, their like their
fueling
fueling cart, and they went around and still gave out ice cream in their costumes after their car rolled. It was amazing. So that's why they got our choice, because they were awesome. Very sad. R.I.P.
I saw the video of that, and there was a secondary incident that happened moments later with a Mini, so I noticed.
Okay, so
did you get to witness all of that too?
I did. Main topic time. Let's get to main topic time. Let's get through here and this, and then next time. Yes. Right. Okay.
Yep. HMG went to a multi-car effort of HOA, Hoopty Owners Association versus anti-HOA. So there were a number of gentlemen dressed up as Karens, borrowing dresses from their wives and thrift stores.
Some of them looked great in them, actually.
Said yes to the dress. He found the one.
We had a conversation with them.
They were giving out HOA notices of violations. The Mazda got one for not having enough rust and being too white for the neighborhood. So to give you an idea. So
mine was approved.
Yours is approved,
HOA
yes.
Approved.
Yeah, good. Yep. So that was great. There was also some anti-HOA teams that were defund the HOA. Yep, and they had a piece of AstroTurf they'd put out, and anyone would walk on it, they'd yell at people to stay off the grass, and just things like that.
Like huge full-size flags that said defund the HOA. So they'd have all the Karen meeting, and then they'd have the people coming by with the defund the HOA, and they fought. And they were in costume all weekend, and they walked
made
away.
Gift baskets for the A, B, and C winners. Welcome to the neighborhood.
So that if you see what we're holding, and my phone has a range of pictures of, we were given the gift basket, but we actually weren't given the award. So we're standing there, and we were like, great. And they were like, they said welcome to the neighborhood, and they gave us the gift basket, and then we were like,
we're waiting for judges to give us the actual real
award. Yeah. Well, let's just go get that off the table now. And they had to go look for which one it was. So kind of funny. And I took a picture, actually. I put it on my Facebook because my mother texted me and she's like horrified. She says, what are you even holding? And I was like, oh, it's a gift basket. And then here's the crap that was in it. And it's so funny, the stuff that's in it. It is there's random tools. There's a used head gasket from some car. What did you said? It
some
was
kind of a V6, one side of a V6.
There is a CD of like Run DMX CD and a pen with a jewel on it. I'm looking over my shoulder.
There's some nitrile gloves. There's some tissues. There's some octane booster.
Bar.
Granola, like an unlabeled granola bar from a mall. Just in a silver package.
Took it out of the box, and you don't know what it is. It's
roll of paper towels. It was a nice thing, and that was a whole list, a group of teams. I don't even know all the teams it was, but includes the Pete Cheat Focus, Misfortune Cookie, Mini, Hack Factory was involved in that somehow too, and there was more. So great job keeping the theme going all weekend, everyone.
It was good.
And Iowa went to a car that anyone's racing in the Northeast has passed and gotten a point from many times in the race, and that's Mr. H Motorsports in their Volvo 760. This thing has completely stock suspension. It wallows through the corners, like it just lists through all of them. It still is running the PRV V6 that they got at a junkyard in 2016. And an automatic transmission, and they just drive it, and they are so polite out there. Like, you never ever have a problem getting around them. They have great situational awareness. They point you by all the time, and the damn thing came in like 20 something overall, even though it had like the 90th fastest lap time. So totally well deserved for those guys. That was great.
All right. We're going to talk more about the race in 1 minute. Listener feedback time! Okay, on YouTube, It's Probably Fine said, please do an episode on the cool shirt system with the parts list. My next project for the car is to build one. The whole cool shirt fast merger has me a bit of a quandary as to what to do with the connections/hoses. We think this is a great idea. We're in the market for new cool shirts too, and we have ideas on our setup, and we'll probably do a show probably sometime soon. So maybe we can you can use the parts and get it built if you're still doing a race in the coming months. So yes, we will do that. Thanks.
And Paul Jan said on YouTube, CloudStrike CEO wins I Got Screwed trophy for last week. Yes.
Fair.
Yeah.
Mental, who has been reduced to listener status last week, and he said, Chrissy's mom absolutely deserves a baking cool shirt.
If we can figure out how to make it non-cumbersome, might be a fun idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just turn the air conditioning down in the house.
Which they usually do, especially on baking weekend. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are always happy to talk to listeners in person at races. And at Thompson, the Slow Civic stopped by to say hi and let us know that on Friday they were halfway through the track walk. And then I encouraged them to continue to listening to the second half so they know exactly where they're going. And they said they were going to. But then they told us that Chris was too quiet the last episode. So just to let you all know that we do we all sound fine to ourselves in the show. We usually let each other know. We try to do kind of a mic check before we start, but things sound different when our voices are coming out of your speakers. So please feel free to let us know when our levels are wrong, because then we can fix them. I know that I am very loud and Chris is just not. So we can fix them, and then you shouldn't have to turn up the sound up and down as you probably did for our last episode. So we like your feedback.
And it's a little different this time too, because I have been recording it this week and last week because Mental is not here. So the way the sound level is, I noted that because I took Mental's profile for this recording software, and I noted he had turned the sound limit on him down, which makes perfect sense. So I turned it back up for me. So hopefully this week is going to be better. I'm trying to make sure I am talking a little louder. I've got the microphone right in front of my face, so we should be good there. So thanks for the feedback. And lastly, we posted our win a bunch of places and had so many congratulations and praise and surprise and text and calls. So it was wonderful. Thanks all for all the support. We're really happy we got it done.
Well, let's talk about it. Well, first.
Well, do you know whose sound is always on point?
Sure.
Yep.
Never speaks too low and always has wonderful, wonderful quality of sound. That's Chrissy's.
Sure. Yes.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Everyone enjoyed your cookies who had them this weekend.
Yes.
And they were
Delish.
just the right amount. Sometimes we
Yep.
have weekends where she goes up and above overboard, and then we have so much, but everybody took their bags of cookies home. Tim, sorry you didn't get any. It's very sad.
Dave, did your bag of cookies make it all the way home?
Nope.
Nope.
Not a chance. No. Nope.
And you could have taken all that there were there, because I told you before I told anybody else that they were on the table for the taking. So you could have just said, "Oh, everybody
Doink.
came by and they're all gone."
I don't know what happened.
He runs away with like 6 sandwich bags of cookies. Okay,
Yep.
it's
right.
big topic time.
We're going to talk more about Thompson. We've already started talking about it, but we're just going to talk about it. We were all there. Well, not Tim. For those three of us were there. Right?
Yay!
And we're going to talk about what happened. It was a good weekend. Lots of fun. So let's go in chronological order. Thursday, traveling there. Chrissy and I left home at like 3:15, and traffic sucked. And yeah, the I-84 was actually closed further north, so Waze tried to route us down to 95, which was a parking lot, but we didn't do that. But anyway, it was terrible whichever way you were going to go. We pulled in at like 9:30 after foregoing a full fuel stop and everything. But we made it. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, we hit the same traffic. I think we left about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And when 84 got closed, it happened right in front of us. Like, I shouldn't say right in front of us, a couple miles in front of us. And we were able to jump off an exit and just route our way around and, make a pit stop and continue on. I don't think we got there till like 6-ish, 6 or 6:30. We should have been there like well before 5.
And that was consistent with everybody that was traveling. I'm pretty sure there was some New Yorkers. Wasn't it Paul and Amanda? I think they showed up. It took them a good couple. Didn't it take somebody like 7 hours to get? From New York
Tom Lamino said he never went above
Lamino.
30 miles an hour from the time he left Long Island until he was past Hartford or something like that.
Yeah, so everybody really struggled on Thursday for no real reason.
Yep, but we got there, unpacked. It was warm. It was humid.
So humid.
Nice to see everybody.
Yes. Yeah,
All
unpacked.
good. We actually had garages because Dave was in charge of the garages for Thompson.
Yes!
So we always have them, and they're always good. It's amazing how that works, right?
Pretty simple.
Yep. So no problems there. All right, Friday. Wake up bright and early, ready to go. It's testing day. Chrissy's working because we used up all our PTO in France. So I'm just working on the car by myself at that point. We have for our team this weekend, Chrissy and I had joining us the Lemons legend Anton Levitt from California. Anton has run 147 races, I think. He's won just about everything there is multiple times, including multiple drivers' championships. He gets it, and we were thrilled to have him with us this weekend. But he wasn't going to get there until the early afternoon because he was flying in from California.
At some point, I say to him, "Oh, you know what? We're trying for B. It's so hard to win B." And he was like, "I just won like 7 of them." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, now I guess it's 8 for him. So, or 6 or 7. I think he couldn't remember. So, yes, he's good like that."
Yeah. So Tim, you were playing golf. So instead of you, we had to upgrade to Anton. Sorry.
It sounds like it was an upgrade because he's got a good record.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday, yes, I worked half the day, and then we just kind of hung around for the rest. Oh, we got it back. We got in the car. We did some testing.
I did. Yeah, it was kind of a lot that we did on Friday. So I had to find brake pads that Bill had for me because he had ordered previously, get those onto the car in the back and put the new tires on and like break in the motor. Who knew that motor had 20 miles on it at the point we showed up at the track. So I finally get all those things done and go out and gradually build up temperature on all those new things. And everything seems okay. And I'm starting to push it a little bit, about 8 laps in. And then I'm coming out of the bowl or out of the oval area into that left-right sweeper. And I notice in my mirror a big puff of smoke. I'm like, oh no. And then a few seconds later, another one. I said, all right, well, something's wrong. I'm going right into the pits again. So I pull in and back the car in the garage into the garage and open the hood and nothing. There's no oil leaks. There's nothing. Everything looks perfectly fine. So it's all right. We'll let it cool off. At that point, we'd done enough to heat cycle the tires. So swap the crappy testing day tires back on. And we start thinking about it and looking around. And the motor is basically the same. But the one thing we changed from the old motor to this one is the sump. It's got a different oil pan because it's got the escape oil pan, which has some baffles in it and has the windage tray that I made versus the old one, which is a Mazda 3 oil pan, which didn't really have any baffles on it and had an extended version of the stock windage tray. And that was it. So, and having them had this whole motor apart, I know that the crankcase vent is in the front of the engine, pretty low down behind the intake manifold is where the baffling, and it's just literally a hole down into the sump. So we realized that if there was enough oil in it and it sloshed forward enough, it could get sucked into the baffle for the crank vent system. And with a fresh motor with good vacuum, it sucked it right up and was just burning it, blowing it out the other end. So I looked at I had more oil in it than I was expecting. I was intending to overfill it because that's worked out nicely for us, but it was a little more than I probably should have had in there. So drained some oil out of it and it was still above the full line, but it was more comfortably less above the full line. Got that back together, went out, drove it hard, and everything seemed to be pretty good. A little bit of residual oil from what was in the manifold, I think, but after that, it was great. The car felt great. The front rotors still had an uneven transfer layer on it. I'd put new ones on the rear, but I think what happened is after the car blew up the motor last time, somebody had their foot on the brakes for a while after the car has stopped. So it went from hot to stopped and stood there for a while and just put a solid bit of transfer layer on each rotor. So we had to replace all the rotors. But after I did that, the brakes were nice and smooth and the car seemed great. So handed it off to Chrissy.
Except
I think
this was after, well, we had lunch, I think. This was after the lunch break, I believe.
Yep.
Yes. So I went out and still had a little. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry if you're watching video. There's a cat that is running around my my little desk here. I had a couple of puffs of smoke. I came in, make sure that we thought that we went away. We're like, oh, this is great. We figured it out, and then we were happy that we tested, and then we realized it was still there. So I came in a couple of times just to make sure that everybody was good with the amount of smoke that we were still having. That did dissipate throughout the afternoon, which was good. Yeah, and so we continued to test, went out there. Yeah, I did probably a good half an hour or so, and it was all good. Yes, Tim.
Where was its happy place with the oil level by the end of the day?
About 3/4 of a quart above the full line.
Okay.
That seemed to be good.
So I think I got in, and then Anton got in. He got there successfully with minimal issues. He did have an EV that came with no charge, so he had to take an extra long stop on the way to get to the racetrack because, of course, there's no chargers at the racetrack, so there's that.
Yep. Anton and I went over the car for a few minutes, just what are the temperatures supposed to be? What is it like? What's normal? And he comes back in half an hour. He's like, he was really happy with it. Happy with the balance, happy with how it drove, happy with everything. So half hour, he's like, yeah, I'm good. I got it. Like, yep, sure you do.
You have to know and talk to Anton to understand his mannerisms. Yes, he was. He did better job of calming me down, and he was like, "So we ready to dominate?" He was like, "Yeah, okay, okay, okay." We're a little bit more excitable than he is, but great teammate, and of course, team owner, which is we love having team owners on our team because they're always picking stuff up and trying to figure out how they can help, and just always
mechanical sympathy
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, besides that, yes. But always trying to work on the car and see what they can do. So yeah, it was definitely nice having him on the team. So Friday, we had a couple pouring down thunderstorms. Actually, the session ended early, about an hour early because of the rain. This track has a protocol that they shut down the track if there is lightning within a certain amount of miles within a certain amount of time. 8 miles,
and then you have to wait. I think it's like 8
like
miles, and then you have to wait half an hour since the last time it happened. So
right. So they said that there's lightning, and there was a lot of water, and it was like standing water. So it was enough for them to call it. So I believe we ended about an hour earlier than we usually do. So testing was fine.
Yeah, but we were done. We put the car back together, put the other wheels back on it. It was ready to go. So good. Dave, how was your Friday?
Well, I'll just preface it by saying that when your driver tells you there's a clunk in the car, you really should really dig in to try to find the clunk and not just think it's something like an exhaust hanger or something loose. Because when I got in the car on Friday morning, I experienced a serious clunk whenever I would lift. As soon as I would decelerate, I'd hear it from the rear end. It sounded to me like the diff. Knew right away. First thing, brought it in, put it on jack stands. I'm going to swap the diff. So that's what I spent most of my morning doing.
Yes.
Well, of course I have a spare one, yes.
Yeah.
But see, I had intentions of swapping this one in anyway because I had one rebuilt. It was fresh, ready to go. The one in the car has got probably, I don't know, four years on it now. And I figured, you know what, it's time. We'll put a fresh one in instead of waiting until that one blows up, and keep that one as a spare for a while. And then when I get some time and some extra change, rebuild that one and be set. Because these diffs for these like mid '80s Toyotas, Supras, and Cressidas are getting much more expensive and much harder to find. So, but anyway, so that was what I did. Spent most of my morning doing, and but then I come to find out that the clunk wasn't actually the diff itself. It was a mounting bracket that's on the back of it. So the diff bolts into the subframe from the front. There's like 6 bolts that hold into the front of the diff in, and then there's a smaller subframe that bolts to the back with 2 bolts. And one of them was completely missing, and the other one was probably about halfway out. So that clunk, and Tim probably remembers this, whenever you'd put the car in reverse and you'd go to back out of the garage and you'd hear a little clunk, that was that clunk. It just got worse and more magnified. So once I bolted that all back together, and in the middle of that, the Team Hesh came by with their ice cream truck, and Chris grabbed me an ice cream. So that was really refreshing. But
Yeah, I sat there and ate ice cream while watching you work too, which is the best part.
No chips. Yes. No chips. Everybody's eating ice cream. We got it back together. I sent Steve out in it. He said it was great. Car was good. Made some suspension changes before the race in between New Jersey and now. Changed the springs. Now we're all fresh springs in all 4 corners. Lowered the car a little bit. And handling-wise, the car felt great. So Steve came back in. We went through tech. And then that's when they closed the track down. So our third driver, because Tim was not available, was 2-time champion Neil Losi. So Neil didn't get to go out at all because the track got closed early.
Fortunately, Neil's driven that car and that track before.
Yes.
So
Yes.
That
was no big
did
deal.
Did you find that the car is not lifting the rear tire under hard cornering now with your new changes?
It still does. I'm going to have to change the rear shocks. I need to put longer rear shocks in to get that little bit of droop back, because it does actually turn in better with the new front springs. And I don't want to lose that, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to stiffen the front end up to keep from it rolling over too much and picking that rear tire up. I noticed it more like in, was it turn 4, the hairpin. Like, if I was getting on the brakes a little too late, I noticed actually a little wheel hop on the rear tire. You know what I mean? Like, I was actually getting too light for that reason. If I was like trail braking in a little too late than I normally would. If I did all my braking in a straight line, it was good, it was fine. But otherwise, really no problem with it. It's just I'm concerned with New Hampshire with turn 3. When we go to turn 3 in New Hampshire, and you're really loading on the left side, going up that hill, that is going to do it. So I will have new rear shocks for the rear that are a little bit longer by then.
excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Friday night we did a track walk with Anton, and halfway through it started to rain pretty significantly, so that was nice.
It was fine.
Yeah, it's all right. We never got to the point of squishy shoes wet, but we were pretty wet.
Correct.
Yeah, and then Wartburgers and
Wartburgers, yeah.
General evening festivities, but it was pretty tame. I think the rain chased a lot of people away. So we were in bed. There's no one around. All right, well, let's go to sleep. So we were up. We went to bed bright and early, and it was nice.
Well, we knew we were going
to start. Go ahead, Chrissy.
No, we knew that race starts next morning. So, and a decent morning. Got to get up and get ready to start the race. So yeah, it was worth it. Good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is like, it seems to me in even past history at Thompson that because Saturday is such a long day and it starts early, Friday night's pretty tame.
There's a Checo.
There. But the heat too, I think, factors in. A lot of people are just wiped out. Even
Yeah.
just they're tired. They want to go to bed.
Yeah, the same
And the
thing
heat-
happened Saturday night. Everyone was just beat from being hot and a long day.
And the humidity was so much. If it wasn't raining, it felt like you were swimming through the air. You just couldn't stop sweating. And it was yeah, and even the West Coast guys, they were like, "Oh, we kept saying hot." And they were like, we do like it's 115 at home." And we're like, "But the humidity." They're like, "You win. It's the humidity." Because it was just so much. And yeah, so that beat everybody up. So, yeah, so Friday went to bed at normal hour.
Yep. So Saturday morning, Chrissy started us off. How was your shift out there, Chrissy?
I did. It was fine. It was fine. Pretty much consistently throughout the weekend, but definitely through my first stint. You normally assume there was 95 cars that started, and on a track that's 1.6, I think, 6 or 7, something like that. So not a very big track. Some places you really can't even go too wide, and 95 cars is a lot. So we expect to have some dicing through lots of traffic, having local yellows and even some longer double yellows. My stint did not have basically any of those. I did have the red flag with the rollover. And as I mentioned, so things were going pretty well. And then I want to say it was about an hour in because I was pretty darn hot. I did have a cool suit. I did have a water bottle, but I was just hot. And so as much as I'm very sorry for all of the people involved in the red flag, we were able to come in and then be able to get a water bottle, cool towel. I had an umbrella man, so that was great. So anyway, back to the incident that happened. So we already talked about the rollover, but the rollover actually caused more problems as the ice cream truck rolled over the escort. And Chris, you have told the story better, maybe. The escort that was going.
Well,
no, not the escort.
I heard it from a couple of the people who were involved.
Please go ahead.
So there was an E30 that came up over the hill and saw the bottom of the escort and said, "Oh no," and braked really hard and didn't hit it. And then a Mini came over the hill, didn't slow down enough, and then they plowed into the E30 hard and pushed that over into the guardrail too. So the E30
and then
got
I think
bounced
somebody was trying to avoid all of that and then ended up rear-ending the E30, I think.
Well, that was the Mini was the one that hit the E30 and pushed into the guardrail.
Okay.
So, and I think there was a Miata that was somehow tangentially involved, but it wasn't too bad.
Something like that. Yes.
Yeah, but the E30,
Yeah.
what that thing is
It's
trashed.
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the Mini bent a frame rail on the front too. They ended up with a parts car and tried all weekend to like make it work, but they just couldn't get it to work either. So
and they were the ones. And so really, if the escort that had rolled had stood on its brakes and not, but basically they had rolled back onto the track, and then people tried to avoid that. So that's what did not help that incident become bigger.
yeah,
So
it's tough. I imagine you just roll over, you're in shock, you don't know what's going on, you literally don't know which way is up at that point. Remembering to stand on the brakes is hard to do.
Yeah.
But when it rolled backwards onto the track is when the other things happened, unfortunately.
So if you're familiar with the Thompson track, so this all happened right at where pit out is. So right on the air quotes straight, right before pit in.
Track.
I'm sorry, pit in. Yeah, I apologize. Pit in, getting into the pit, and so there is a hill, and you're going to come down the hill and then go up over the hill. That's basically blind, and there is a flagger that's going to be on your right, and there is a wall that comes out. And so basically you're going pretty fast. I did not see a yellow before that flag. I don't recall if I saw one as I was coming down the hill. There may have been a yellow as I was coming down the hill, and I had seen it sort of slow down a little bit, but you never know what's going up and over the hill. So I looked up and saw the yellow flag change to a red flag at right before you go up over the blind hill. And the incident is right on the other side of that hill. So my brain says, yellow, okay, slow down. Oh, red. wait, we don't. Why are we seeing red? What does red mean? Oh, let me slow down. And so by then I had come and pulled off to the left-hand side of the track, so on the grassy side, away from not knowing where the incident was or whatever anything was happening because it was blind. And so I was basically a couple seconds away from being part of that incident. And so I stopped on the side of the road, and that's where I got a full view because so the video that was posted, if it was 1 second after that video, you would have seen my car. Because there was the Miata that had rolled up over the grass. You could see them pull off, and I'm right there. So then I was told, waiting for instruction, told to pull off and go into pit lane. And then I sat in pit lane for a while. They said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm hot, but I'm fine." And I was actually the very first car in line. At this point, and we all know, or at least three of us know, about being a judge and being part of staff, that you train and talk about what happens if you're going to have a red flag, a black flag, and you kind of come up with a plan. But there was a lot of confusion when this happened. I think the location on the track didn't help because there was a lot of back and forth of staff making sure that that there's so many cars that were part of this incident. They needed to make sure that everybody got off track safely, and then people were kind of not listening to directions, and you have to try to get around the incident to be able to get back into pit lane. So when I'm sitting in pit lane, they were all talking to each other, and they said, "Okay, everybody's going to go in. We're all going to go in." So I'm the first car, and says, "Okay, they told me to go in, so I'm going to go into the pits."
Out of the hot pits into the regular paddock is what you're talking about.
Yes, that's that. Thank you. So I go in, and nobody follows me. And so I say, "Okay, well, this is the instruction that I was given." And so I pull around, and everybody's saying, "Okay, go in like you're getting ready for the morning, just like you're starting the race." So I get in line, and there's two cars in front of me that had not made it out on track when the red flag happened. So fortunately, Chris comes over. He brings me a very large golf umbrella to shade me.
A few moments later.
Hi, and we're back. So I finished my stint, and it was great. Bye. Okay, so red flag. The end of my story was they told me to go in, and then they let me out last. So they let out every other car, and they were like, "Well, they're basically penalizing me because they thought I went into the paddock to fix my own car, but I did not do that." And so they said, "We don't care, just go in." So then I did about 2 more hours. I think I got out at 12:10. So I started at 9 and I got out at 12:10, and it was fine. So I got out, and it was.
And we have we the amount of gas that we put in was about a half a gallon more than what we think the capacity of the tank is, or half a gallon less. So
basically, it never burped and shot more out, and we all kind of look at each other and said, "Oh, okay, it took all of that. So great."
Yeah.
That I kept saying. So the problem is with the gas gauge, it hangs out at full for a while. As soon as it has half, it plummets. It goes to the light turns on, and it pegs at the bottom, and then it'll keep going. So we thought we knew how much was left in it, and I kept saying,
close. I mean, I know that when it has, that when it's straight up and down, it's 2.5 gallons, but that's when the car's level. And it's different when it's moving all around as to what reading you get, and you never quite know. So we just go based on our numbers, and we're pretty. Calculations are pretty good. We knew it was getting close. It would be real tight for 2.5 hours of driving, and it was.
I was like, it's pegged.
Yep.
We should probably go soon because we don't know that it hiccups before you're out. So
because we've never run it out, and now
we don't want to play that game.
We had about a teaspoonful of gas left in it when you came in, so that was it.
Efficient. That's what we had.
We just kept going, trying to wait for a good window a good time to pit, and we didn't have one. So
nope.
Anyway, put Anton in. He went out and dominated, and he didn't have a radio or a cool shirt or a water thing. He didn't want it. He's like, "No, that's fine." And he just goes out.
We needed the radio because we said come back in 2 hours, 2.5, 2:20.
Yeah,
and he still had half a tank in there. So We pitted
Not,
early.
yeah, he wasn't nearly half a tank. He had
Okay.
about 2 gallons. But
Okay.
anyway,
He did Anton things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but it was one of those where, all right, coming to 220, we'll wave the flag in the pits when we're ready for you around that time. And it's like, okay, it worked. So then I go out and had a pretty uneventful 2 hours and 20 minutes, really.
So I got out and we were in ninth,
Yep.
dropped down. He
So
brought it back, I
16th.
think, in ninth or
Yep.
eighth or ninth.
Yep. Then it
Yep.
got back down, and then I brought it back up to about 10th, I think, overall, and I think leading the class at that point. And then he goes back in to finish the day and has an uneventful stint again, and we're back up to 9th.
Ninth. Yep.
Again.
Ended the day in ninth.
Yep.
With
No flags, no problems, no nothing. And the end of the day, what we did to the car was rotate the tires, clean the glass. That's it. That's all it did. Yeah, that's
That
the
is
best kind of day.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful.
We had no rain on Saturday. It was pretty hot, humid, soupy. But yeah, other than that, it was probably okay.
Yep. It's a very solid day. 9 hours of racing. All went well. For us,
And
at least.
the people behind us in class was a sub, and they will come back later. But so we were in ninth, end of the day in ninth, because we start top 10 starts on the grid on Sunday, and they started right behind us. So because they were in 10th, so that
And they were
matters a little.
driving very aggressively, like we're going to put our car here, and you either need to move or we're going to crash. That kind of stuff. And it wasn't just to me; it was to other people too.
I think it got worse during the day because I was out first and didn't see too much of that. But I think it was, I guess, maybe since they were in contention, they thought that was worth it to them.
Yeah.
How was it overall? Was it pretty aggro throughout the day for the whole field, or was it just a little spottiness?
Select cars, primarily.
Right, I agree.
Pretty
and
much just
select
BMWs.
drivers.
Right.
Yes, I was going to say very, very stereotypical.
Yeah, the clean BMWs, with new paint, were the ones who were usually the jerks. Yeah, almost everyone.
Yeah.
So then we had a potluck. Yay. So the problem was it was very hot. And then as soon as we got off track, it had rained. I believe it was raining as we were preparing. So between 6 and 7 p.m., it started to rain. So the problem with the paddock at Thompson, it's very spread out. So you have to kind of travel from a far way away. If you live in the upper 40, you're pretty far out. So what we think is that the rain might have just encouraged people to not come to the potluck. I was concerned about how much food we had before the pig arrived. I held off because I always say for my potlucks that we do not eat at 7 on the dot because depending on how much food we have, because I'm occasionally concerned that if there's 3 salads on the table, why are you going to eat at a potluck? So we knew a pig was coming and we waited for it. So we ended up eating at about 7:15 ish, I think.
Yep. Plenty of food. It was very good. Lots of meat.
Lots of meat, mostly meat. But we ended up having enough food for the amount of people. So not everybody came. Not everybody brought food. We had enough food for the amount of people that showed up. So yeah, it was good. Then we were able to clean up. And yeah, we went for we got ice cream. I forgot.
We did get ice cream.
We got ice cream.
Yep. And then there was the bonfire, which was lightly attended, and that was about it. It was a pretty quiet night. So
We had all
Dave,
kinds of ideas of what to do, and
nobody was around.
around.
So Dave, how'd your Saturday go?
Oh, it went swell.
Excellent.
Well, it started out, I was with Chrissy, like actually the first probably half hour or so, running right behind her, following her through traffic. And car was running great. But I started noticing, actually, I think I was going through the oval at one point, and I thought I saw my oil pressure light, which is a trailer marker light on the dash. I thought I saw it flicker. It's like, okay. So then I just started paying attention to it, and then I saw it flicker again. But then I was kind of like, it was kind of in a weird spot. It wasn't like where I would expect oil starvation, like through the oval, like, or through the long sweeper, or the hard right, hairpin, or anything where I'd expect like oil slosh to cause an issue. And I started noticing that it would flicker like on certain bumps. So I started, I was a little concerned, but thinking it's probably the connector going to the pressure sending unit, because it's right underneath the exhaust header. It's an area where it's really hot. I have like wires insulated over there for that exact reason. Not this particular wire, but this one
At
actually
least then.
has like that. Well, yeah, but this wire was factory. It had like the like the fiber insulation on it for that reason. But then it's just got more, like a couple times I noticed it when I was going through the oval. I said, you know what, I'm not taking any chances. I pulled in. I wanted to make sure that it was the wire, not something else, that I wasn't like losing oil, and like the oil was starting to get low and getting starvation. And so as soon as we got it, we put a fan on it to cool it off so I can get my hand under there. And as soon as I pulled the wire off the sending unit, the other end goes to a plastic connector. It came off right in my hand. As soon as I pulled it up, it was like, oh, there's our problem. So
That is the
simple
best
fix.
possible oil
Yeah.
pressure light coming on solution ever.
Especially
Yes.
since we just did an engine swap with loss of oil.
Yes.
Let's just check that.
Yes. Yeah, it's to win in lemons doesn't pay enough to risk blowing a motor up. And, it made the best sense to me. So Chris gave me a piece of wire. I put a new connector on it, got a piece of spark plug wire insulation from Bruce and Greg, zip tied it on there, put it on, went back out, and it allowed us to go back to a two-stop strategy. We were kind of fortunate because when I pulled in, it was right before the red flag. So we literally lost maybe 5 laps, I think, and then the red flag happened. So we were able to get the car fixed, get ready, get back in line with everybody else, and we were like 5 laps, had lost 5 laps. So I ran out my stint, like Chris and Chrissy said, there was some aggro drivers out there. I was like pretty shocked at how Thompson's usually one of the cleaner races, I'd say, in as in the Northeast. But this was quite a bit of aggro beamers out there. But I basically ran it dry. It was like started sputtering. Then we put Neil in the car. Neil started out probably within, I don't know, 5 or 6 laps. He radios in, he's coming in. There's a problem with the shifter. So he came in, looked at it, and basically the shift knob, the whole shifter would spin around in his hand. And
Like making soup.
like he could sit there and just churn it. But so I had picked up one of my parts acquisitions, a short shifter for it, and decided to put it in. And it has 2 set screws that I guess you adjust how much travel it has, like side to side. Well, they both backed out, and it allowed it to basically turn within itself. So I wasn't a big fan of it anyway, so I ripped it out and put the stock shifter back in, and just sent Neil on his way, and he ran out the rest of his stint. Then we put Steve in, and he finished out the day.
It was that is the best possible option, because when Neil got out, showed me what it did, and I was like, oh, this, like, you're doing trans, like this is gonna be so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, I just didn't even think that it would be 2 bolts and go back in. Like when you guys were getting back in, I was like, oh, that's it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Yeah, when he called in and said that the shifter's like flopping around, and I'm like, oh no, not another transmission. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, simple problem, easy fix is just take it out. I mean, I could have just tightened the two set screws up and then sent them back out, but I was like, you know what, we're not in contention for anything. I'll take an extra 10 minutes. Take the 4 bolts out, put the stock one in. I still had the stock one in with the bolts and everything in a sandwich bag with a zip tie to it for this reason.
Of course you do.
But it's one of those things, like I intended to switch it back anyway, because I felt like the short shifter, at least with this transmission, is too fast. Like you have to actually wait on your shifts, like it doesn't give you an advantage to shift any faster. And but anyway, yeah. So like I said, Steve finished out the day. We just rotated the tires, bled the brakes real quick, fueled it up, had plenty of meat for the potluck. And
So much
I think
meat.
the heat was definitely a lot. Like I brought a lot of beer home with me from this race, because Saturday night Bob and I were like, I'm beat, just tired, and took a shower and went to bed early. Oh, forgot the ice cream too.
We got ice cream.
Thank you for reminding us, Dave. We're doing something. Dave walks over and says, bogeys. I said, what? Bogeys. Ice cream. Let's go get ice cream.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. It's time to go.
Right. Come on.
Pretty
Ice
much.
cream.
Yep. We took a bunch of bikes, and we took the Scooty, and I guess you guys took a car. But anyway, it was delicious. It's so okay. We talked about bogeys before we got on the pre-race show. Their serving sizes are unbelievable.
They're enormous.
Huge. They're enormous.
Small is
like
huge.
a large any other place, and like Bobbin told them to put it back and give them a kitty, and it was not. It was the same size, same thing.
Yeah,
it was
the
like
kitty size was
it
still
maybe
like a large anywhere else.
So Bobbin threw hers out. I ended up throwing mine out because I was like having an ice cream coma, and I was like, I don't even want any more. And I said, I'm throwing it away. So it was a lot, but it was great. Oh, and the bugs were so bad that because we were in a bog, I still have bug bites all over my body. So that was terrible. Okay.
Yep.
So we went to bed like fairly early because Saturday was like not a fun party.
Nope. Sunday morning, got up, had to go get some gas. So borrowed Dave's truck and go fill up the gas because we don't start till noon because we got to have Jesus morning for Connecticut. And had plenty of time. We had a nice breakfast. We sat down and had our pancakes and our bacon, and everything was done. And pushed the car
Robin
over.
Brought fruit over. And
it was great.
That was great.
Pushed the car over to pit.
A surprise Sunday drivers meeting after Saturday?
No, it wasn't that bad.
We threatened it, but no.
Yeah. Pushed the car over to pit lane because top 10. Like, oh man, I get to be with the special people over here. We decided we're going to try to do a one stopper that day. We knew 230 on fuel is tight, and we wouldn't be able to drive 100%. We'd have to back it off to make that happen. But we said, well, there's good forecast for some rain, and there's probably going to be some yellow, so that'll be enough. We'll make it work. Guess what we didn't have? Rain or yellows, like at all.
Yeah, we have one brief rain shower. That was it.
Yeah, it was right as we did the driver change at 2:30.
Yes.
It was when the rain was. So Anton comes out. We're in ninth with the Saab coming up behind us.
We were 5 laps up
in the morning
at the start of the day.
Yep. And they were down to 2 laps up or 2.5 laps up by the time I get in the car. They were also on a one-stop strategy, apparently. So I get out there and doing what I can. Sometimes I need to go full throttle and everywhere and get through some packs and get around some slower cars. Other times I'm using fourth gear a lot more, using lift and coast, using some part throttle once you're most of the way down a straight. but still returning respectable lap times in the low 130s pretty reliably.
So
And
they're pushing. They're
They're
pushing.
pushing hard.
And
they're
we've
coming
watched
up.
them. We've watched them pass on the blend, past the blend line, dive bomb all the way down the front straight, pass everybody through the blend line. We watched
And
it
not
happen.
get called for it.
Nope.
Yeah. Dave,
Yeah.
what's up?
So after you got in, I talked to Anton for a little bit, and we figured out that the Saab actually pitted probably at least 10 minutes before you. Like,
Correct.
'cause I was looking at the pit stop times.
Yep.
They picked up about 16 to 18 seconds on the difference in pit stop laps. But so then Anton and I were like, can they make it to the end? Because they stopped. Well, how long did you pit or run for?
2.5.
Anton stayed out for what?
We split the
Exactly
day.
2.5.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were just like, I wonder if they're going to have to stop again because they pitted like at least 10 minutes before you did.
And they had
And-
pitted at the very end of the day on Saturday.
Right,
They had
yeah,
to do
yeah,
a
yeah.
splash and go with 5 minutes left to keep going. Well, so I go out and I'm doing what I can, but they're catching up. And I'm looking at the dark clouds, hoping for rain, because if it rains, it's totally going to help us because we're running fairly new Hancooks. They were on some pretty worn BFG rivals, which I saw when they were there this morning. So, all right, we're going to be
We were
so much
also
better in the rain. We also have
hoping if
anti-lock
they were-
brakes and stuff like that.
Hoping that if they were over driving, they'd also possibly mess up and
Yeah,
get a
well,
black
the
flag,
the
right?
flags they weren't getting for passing on over the blend line was a shame. So all we can do is run our race. So we're running our race, doing okay. Car's feeling great, doing all right on fuel, and I come under the bridge with about less. This is maybe 45 minutes left to go, maybe an
That's
hour.
what I say. Yep. About
And
that. Yep.
I see them off in the infield of the oval section. So what are they? I said at first I was like, they just missed this corner. Spun out. Isn't that great? At least that gives me a little bit of room because realistically, a lap or two is probably all we needed, just to get a little cushion.
But they were going to gain on the next 2 laps.
Yeah. So I go around the oval and I'm going down the other side about to return 9, and I see them working their way through the infield of the oval back to the paddock, because there's a way you can get through that way. And I was like, all right, well, that's good. They're going into their paddock. So I radio that in, and everyone goes and looks. And sure enough, they're in their paddock space.
Freaking out.
Yep.
We're freaking out.
So I keep driving for the moment. All right, keep doing this. See what happens. And sure enough, they're out for 8 laps or 7 laps, and that was enough to give us the cushion. So once we confirmed that they were out, and someone went over and found out it was their throttle cable had snapped, and so they jerry-rigged something to make it work to get through the day.
And
But
we
that
could
gave us the
see
cushion
them
we needed.
From the garage lane. They were at the very end of the garage lane, so we could see them when they were coming. We knew that they were pitted because they were working on it, and then we could see them when they came out.
Yep. So then I'm in the car. I've backed way off at that point. I'm running 4th and 5th gear. I'm back to running mid 130s, like 135s instead of 132s. Just you want to go by. You're being a little aggressive. Sure, why don't you go? Go. That's fine, no problem. And because we knew we had it, so that was nice.
No, we did
driving
not.
the car. Well,
We did not know we had it.
if we didn't brake, we had it.
Which
So
we have broken about
with
5
10
out of the
minutes left.
7 times that we
Yeah.
have done this before. That's what everybody's like, you got this. We got it. And I was like,
Not yet,
you have
not
to
yet.
finish. And we have not
Well,
finished before.
And I'm driving and trying to do math. All right, well, it's a minute and a half, and it's 8 laps, and so it's 8 minutes, and then 4 minutes to 12 minutes. Okay, all right, so 12 minutes. When the clock says 4:48, then we got it finally. So
And so, of
yeah,
course, our paddock is just buzzing. And Anton's already doing the math. And he's doing a countdown for how long until we have it in the bag that Chris could just stop and we would still win. So they're all doing the math. And then we're trying not to give him too much information, but enough information because we're all flipping out. And I'm the only one talking to Chris on the radio. That's what's happening right now.
Yep.
And Dave's
So that was
driving,
great.
I think.
10 minutes later, we were like, all right, finally, Chrissy came on the radio. It's like, okay, we've got it. I was like, yeah, I was just doing that math. I know. And so that was nice. Came in, and that was it. We won. Got B. It was lovely.
Yay!
It was much less exciting than the last class win we had at Thompson. It wasn't whichever car comes over that hill is the winner.
Let's not do that again.
It was more anticlimactic, but it was still great to do. Nice to get this one
Chrissy
in
was
the
still
books.
pretty excited though. She
Yes.
was. Oh, I kept saying, "Chrissy, breathe. Chrissy, breathe."
Everybody did. I was not allowed to look at my phone. I kept my phone in the trailer because I kept watching lap times, and he'd say, "Oh, that was slow. Why was that so slow?" And like even Anton, who doesn't, he was like, "You have to calm down." And so I was like, I'm like freaking out. And so unfortunately I did a lot of cleaning, so I was really productive. I got a lot of the paddock cleaned while I was not watching times go by. Dave, how was your race?
Great. I basically sent Neil. I took the day off and was able to pack everything up and let Neil run. And Steve finished out the day. He was split in half. We weren't in contention for anything. Just let everybody get some fun time, some seat time. And car came back as far as I could tell, no issues. Turn it around, get ready for New Hampshire.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Yep. Drive home easy, no traffic. Wonderful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The drive home was like unusually fast, but
Another thing to note. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Finish
No, I
up
was just going to say that I like to take the day off on Thompson just so I can start getting packed up. As much as I wanted to get back in the car, it's like the way the hours work out. It's just easier to let them go out there and run and get everything packed up, which in the end was good because the skies opened up at the end of right after the race.
Exactly. The second we pulled the car, every car came in, we parked, it started pouring. Is really how it happened. And we kept watching, like we're watching radars, and that's why at some point we knew that Chris was watching the sky, and I was like, "Don't count on it. It's not. It's either like flying around us or there's just some clouds." And then we knew that like everything was like, "Yes, it's totally going to rain at 5:10 p.m." And that's exactly when it started raining.
Brutal time to pack up.
That was.
I mean, that's so brutal.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've never seen a lemons paddock clear out more quickly than this time. Like it was amazing how fast everyone packed up knowing that was coming, and once it did, they were gone. Yes.
Everyone's Monday just got a lot worse because I'm sure everything is a disaster inside of all of the trailers. And
like, I mean, our truck was no different.
Go.
I put things away wrong, so we heard clunks the whole way home because things rolled around in the back. I didn't close the Gatorade container, which poured sticky Gatorade all over everything. So, yes.
Thank you, WeatherTech. WeatherTech saving
my haste made a mess in the back of the truck. Yes.
I'm sure you weren't alone.
Chris, you were going to say something. Did you not want to say something?
Dave did it about the rain just coming right after we stopped.
Oh, yeah. And so that made it 100% humidity in the garage with, the 200 people that decided to stay to watch the awards were crammed into a garage space that had no air. So we were just
tripping.
It's dripping. Couldn't breathe is what it was. It was disgusting. But it's okay. We won. We won this great award that I'm holding that you can't see on podcast land, but that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was it.
What's next for the three now?
Casual racing with friends.
Oh,
you want to come? We're gonna race and just have a good time. It's not gonna be fun.
I love that.
The car is as developed as it's gonna be. Like anything else is gonna be so much more. Like it's, yeah, sure. Coilovers, okay. Anything adding power is going to have to be some kind of forced induction or cams or something like that. But then we ruin our fuel burn, and then we won't be able to go as long. So then we need a fuel cell, and no, the car is so nice and easy and fairly reliable as it is. It's just going to stay that way. It's never going to win A, but it's going to be a nice place to spend time and have some fun.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is the right answer in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
If we ever decided we really wanted to be super serious and go super fast again, then we'll put a cell in the Civic and just go drive that. It's already faster. It's already all there. I just don't want to bring it to Lemons because it's too nice, but whatever. That's the other option. But no, we'll just keep driving the Mazda because it's just easy. It's a happy, friendly little car, and everyone likes it, and it's nice. So we'll keep driving it. We'll end up right there with Dave in the top 10 sometimes just because it doesn't break, even though it's way slower than everything else. Yep.
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 Okay.
I'm so happy for you guys. That's so awesome. I know it's been a stressful road to get there, and you've done all of the things that you're supposed to do, and you're patient, and you drove your race, and well done.
That was it. It was a basically perfect race.
And somebody
nothing-
else's misfortune is the other thing.
Well, perfect buys you the lottery ticket. We had a perfect race. The lottery ticket came up in our favor. That was
So
it.
for those that haven't looked, what were the final results? Where'd you finish overall? How many laps ahead were you in B? What was the final tally?
Final results, we finished 7th overall. Only half a lap behind the 6th place car that I had actually let go by when I was not caring anymore at the end of the race, which was the Johnson's Toyota Solara, the black one. They got ahead of us. So we were as high as 6th for a while. Mm-hmm. The Saab ended up finishing 8th. That was 7 laps behind us.
7 laps behind us, yep.
The 3rd place car in B, which was 9th, was the Barf Motorsports Pete Cheat Focus. They were 3 laps behind the Saab. So it was a pretty tight 1, 2, 3 for B there. So,
and all of them could have been a black flag at the end of the race. I mean, that's why it was not necessarily. I mean, you probably weren't going to get a black flag, but any of us were kind of in the mix for a while.
yeah, totally.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
Well done.
success.
Success! Yay! We did it.
Yay.
Okay.
I don't think we know what we're doing next week yet. We'll figure something out.
That's true.
Maybe we'll talk about the Mazda. Maybe we'll talk about cool shirts. I don't know.
We have all the,
Something
or
like
maybe
that.
we'll come up with something else that's topical because that happens
never
too.
know.
I'm in the market for a new cool shirt too, so I'm all in whatever we decide to do. Whether
Maybe we should talk to some cool shirt
DIY or-
companies, see if they can send us some samples.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I will take a demo, a
Yeah.
floor model. I'll take a floor model and I will tell everybody how much I love it, and they won't even have to pay me.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll even do scientific analysis.
Flow
If
rates.
that's-
Come on.
Sure.
Flow rates and total amount of pressure you can run through it, so the hoses don't blow out of Dave's system.
That would be
Yep.
wonderful. Because we had multiple people either asking us if we had. Somebody asked me if I had an extra cool shirt. I said no. Somebody came up to us
It's not
and said
something I
one
want
of
to
their
loan out either. You know,
no,
as gross as they get.
especially on a hot weekend. Somebody came up and said that they had something stuck in one of theirs. In one side of it was looking for baling wire, and they said their piping blew up to like a balloon on the one side because they felt like something was stuck. So, yeah, I think we probably need to have this discussion because it seems to be a topic that we don't necessarily have all the answers to.
Yeah, I
Sounds
think
good.
that would be a great topic. And then you go over like cool shirt maintenance, like off-season maintenance, because it's amazing how much crap goes into that cooler that I see that clogged up the strainer in mine because I put an inline strainer. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Yeah, actually, Chris's old one has a section of clear hosing.
Mm-hmm.
It's black.
Not anymore. Ever since I ran a bunch of bleach through it, that made it.
Well,
much
that's
better.
because they were stuck, and we thought it was actual crap. So, or no, not actual crap, junk stuff, whatever
Stuff.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Super
Now
fun.
let's see if I can make this work.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. And go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text pictures of your junk to me at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, and even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.